Now, a lot of you are trying to joke on me because I'm contradicting the law of non-contradiction, and you're just trying to play logical games and joke on me. But you just really are showing that you don't understand where logic breaks down. Because the ultimate question of the absolute nature of any logical principle like non-contradiction comes down to whether logic applies to the real world. We're in the real world. I mean, if you find something absolute within logic, that's like something absolute within math. You can make all the definitions so that 2 plus 2 equals 4, but I can have a different math where 2 plus 2 does not equal 4. And it's the Einstein quote, paraphrased roughly, math insofar as it's about reality is not true, and insofar as it's true is not about reality. And as for an example of where 2 plus 2 does not equal 4, I mean, that would be in velocities. Velocities do not add that way in relativity. If I'm going 2 units of speed from the Earth and you're going 2 units of speed relative to me, you're not going 4 units of speed relative to the Earth. You're going some number smaller than that because of the effects of time dilation, time, space, and mass dilation in relativity. And I think that the material world trumps your logical world, and we're judging things based on material criteria, not merely on logical criteria. It's ridiculous to abandon the truths of the material world and the scientific knowledge in favor of a logical truth. What I was going to talk about right now is this object here. I have an object. You might recognize it. And the question, non-contradiction, says it either is or isn't green. So let's talk about, is it green? Well, first of all, it's kind of an ironic thing that what it usually means for something to be green, to be some quality, is that that quality adheres to the object. It's a part of the object, okay? It's inherent to the object in a conceptual sense. It's inside the concept of the object. But if we go to the material explanation of what's going on, there's a lot we can question about that. First of all, just ironically, this object is absorbing everything but green. It's rejecting green, right? It's reflecting green. Every other wavelength of light is absorbed and goes into this. The blue light that's striking this right now is being absorbed, and that energy is now inside this leaf, this green object. So the green, is it really in that object? No. But that's okay. You can repair, and as I was saying before, we should notice, what do we have to do to repair these things so the non-contradiction or essence applies again? We can say that to be green really means to have this inherent quality of reflecting green. Great. So light bounces off this and then bounces off. This reflects green, and that light hits my retina. But wait a second. What hits my retina is not the color green, but a particular wavelength of light. And depending on what kind of eyes I have, that may or may not appear green. If I'm some mammal without color vision, or different color vision, it won't be green. If I'm a human that's colorblind, as these other mammals are colorblind, then it won't be green. My brain is assigning this color, this internal tag of the color green, to objects that are reflecting light of that particular wavelength. I create an image in my brain based on the input of all these wavelengths that are hitting my retina, and I create an image in my brain. That image in my brain is what is green, right? To another creature, it wouldn't be green. So my image of this in my brain is what's green. In itself, it simply has properties, physical properties, that happen to make it reflect light. And you might think, well, we can repair that again. That means it has the property of reflecting light of a wavelength that will seem green. Fine, but if you've done that, then you've based your definition on this being green on my perceptions, on my frame of reference. So it's not absolute. You've had to use my frame of reference. Okay? The fact is, this very object here can reflect light that is not green. If this leaf is moving away from me, then the wavelength that I see is going to be more red than green. If it's moving towards me, it's going to be more blue, and it can move fast enough that the color will actually change, and I will see this leaf as red, or the visible light will go, the light will shift entirely out of what's visible to me, and the light won't be even visible. Okay, so it'll have no color to me. Now you can say, well, it's green in its own reference frame. It always reflects the same wavelength in its own reference frame, where it's at rest. But then again, you have chosen a reference frame. And to choose a reference frame to get your truth value means that it's relative to the reference frame. It's not absolute. You require the reference frame. And in all reference frames, no, it's not green. You can find a reference frame in which it's green. You can find many reference frames in which it's green. That doesn't mean it's absolutely green. It means that it's green in those reference frames. In the reference frames where it's not green, it's not green. All right?